How do you face a new year after an affair? Hi, I'm Karen. I'm a licensed therapist and a contributor here at AR. I want to share 4 recovery tips with you as you start the new year. No matter where you are in your recovery from infidelity, there was probably a time when it felt like you wouldn't make it. And let me start by inviting you to notice that you did. You survived this past year. The overwhelm, the grief, the anger, the despair did not swallow you whole, even though it felt like it may have. Take a moment to notice you made it to a new year. While the new year can symbolize a fresh start, it can also come with pressures and disappointments, reminding us of unmet goals or the way the previous year didn't turn out the way we expected. So take a breath with me, and let's discuss how to make the most out of the new year and launch into healing and wholehearted living. Number 1, grieve. Are you ready to start the recovery journey? If you are still in the ocean of grief and despair, that is okay. I will not ask you to be anywhere else. There is no timeline to your pain. I wish there was. I wish I could tell you when it will get better, but I can't. Allow yourself to feel the grief and the anger and the despair. They are essential to recovering from infidelity. Grief is unlike any other emotion in that it is like learning. We have to unlearn an old way of life to be able to learn a new one. Much of this article, I'm going to discuss some actionable tips for recovery, and you might not be ready to do anything but sit in the dark, and that is okay. Your grieving process is uniquely yours, and there is no timeline. Allow yourself to mourn. Robbing yourself from feeling the grief will only hinder your recovery process. So grieve. Number 2, reflect on your progress. You might be a little further along in your recovery process, so take some time to recognize all you have overcome this past year. Despite everything, you kept going. You got yourself to work when you could. You got the kids to school on time, for the most part. And when the world felt like it was falling apart, you managed to keep moving. That is something to be deeply proud of. Look back with kind eyes and compassion at all you have endured and overcame. The thing I know to be true as a therapist and as a human being is that the world never stops just because one shoe drops. Sometimes it can feel like you're dealing with an octopus. Sometimes it can feel like an endless struggle. But self-compassion starts within. Be gentle with yourself and honor the progress you've made. Journaling about your growth from the initial discovery to where you are now can be powerful to acknowledge where you are in your journey. Reflect on this question. What is it like to notice this progress? And invite confidence and self-compassion. Consider writing a letter to the person you were last year. Celebrate the things that you're proud of. Offer encouragement and let it serve as a symbolic gesture of releasing the past and inviting the future. Likewise, write a letter to the person you want to be 365 days from now. Visualize the person you see yourself becoming and write about how you saw yourself healing. Number 3, prioritize your healing for the new year. Have you ever made a New Year's resolution and had it fail? You are not the only one. There's science behind why resolutions fail, which is why instead of setting strict goals on healing, I'd like for you to consider setting intentions around self-care and nurturing your spirit. Healing is not linear. Let me say that again. Healing is not linear. It can be a 2-step forward, 1-step back situation. Healing is a process that requires flexibility and gentleness. Think about the support that you need. Perhaps it's time to find a therapist who specializes in betrayal trauma or join a support group. Identify what kinds of therapy you're seeking, whether it's EMDR, ETT, IFS, CBT. And if you're not sure where to start, you can check out the Affair Recovery Therapist page for a list of therapists that can help you figure out where to begin. Create a daily or weekly self-care routine. I identify self-care as whatever you need at that moment that nurtures your spirit. Allow flexibility in your self-care routine, but be intentional. The last thing you want is for your self-care routine to become a chore. Examples of self-care could be a gratitude journal or a creative journal for doodles. Practice meditation, listen to music, try yoga, go on a walk, play with the dog or your kids. sit in the sunshine, touch grass, do something for yourself, only for yourself, with the singular purpose of it bringing you joy and peace. Number 4, nurture and rediscover your sense of self. As you are well aware, going through infidelity is a gut punch that brings you to your knees and rattles your entire existence. It can be easy and understandable to totally lose yourself in this process. Allow yourself to grieve. Wading through the waters of grief is essential for allowing you to come back to yourself. Take time to reflect on the things that make you you. Prioritize rediscovering old hobbies, new interests, or activities that bring you joy for no other reason than that. When my partner betrayed me, I didn't know who I was. To say I didn't know up from down is an understatement. I woke up on Mars. I was totally in a new world, and I had to find my way back home to myself. What I discovered, and it took time for me to realize, was that someone else's actions did not dictate my sense of worth. I was still and am fearfully, wonderfully made, and you still are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your sense of worth has not changed throughout this process. Your value and empowerment are the same as it was before the infidelity as it is now. Nothing will change that. See this next year as an opportunity to rediscover who you are outside of your relationship, your aspirations, your dreams, and your strengths. Surround yourself with a community that will uplift you and champion you. Affair Recovery has a variety of courses and support groups to find community. Number 5, invite hope. When I sat down to write this, I kept coming back to the idea of inviting or embracing hope. I know when I discovered my partner was unfaithful, I had no hope for a better future. I didn't want the hope other people were trying to give me. Slowly, very slowly, I was able to invite hope. I couldn't embrace hope yet, but I was able to create a space for hope to fill. On a neurobiological level, our brains have a hard time looking towards the future when we're living in trauma. If you cannot visualize what you want the future to look like right now, invite what you would like to have in the future. Self-compassion, gratitude, pockets of joy with friends and family. It can be really hard to have hope in the midst of chaos and despair, but focus on ways to microdose joy and gratitude. Journaling about what you are thankful for, celebrating the small wins, is what helps us build resilience. I love it when people say baby steps like it's something tentative, when it really is a great, unbalanced, wholehearted, enthusiastic stagger to discover the unknown. A poem by Rudy Francisco, he says, "I hope I haven't already driven past my greatest moments. I hope there's something beautiful on the horizon that is just as impatient as I am. Something so eager it wants to meet me halfway. A moment that is diligently staring at its watch, trembling with nervousness, frustrated and bursting at the seams, wondering what's taking me so long to arrive." I love this poem. Hope is so complicated. When I was drowning in despair, I would get so mad when people told me to have hope. And the truth is, whether or not you were ready for hope, hope is anxiously waiting for your arrival. While the previous year no doubt held challenges, grief, and things you never want to go back to, it also had moments of joy and small miracles. The human experience is full of ups and downs, trials and tribulations, garbage and greatness. See this next year as an opportunity to grow, to recover, to find yourself, and to heal. Reflect on all the progress you have made and take pride in the person you are becoming. Prioritize your healing, seek help when you need it, and create new rituals to propel yourself towards the version of you you want to cultivate. And lastly, invite hope. I'd like to leave you with a poem from Joe Saxon. Hope still wins, but it often has a tear-stained face. It has a vulnerable heart. It has bloodied fists because it keeps on fighting. It has scraped knees because it keeps crawling forward. It is sweaty. Hope is not necessarily pretty, but you want hope on your side because hope will fight with you. Hope will fight for you on the hardest days of your life. As you grieve, remember hope is waiting for you, ready to embrace you, hold you up, shelter you, nurture your spirit, and champion you forward. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Hope is important because it can make the present moment less difficult to bear. If we believe that tomorrow will be better, we can bear hardship today." My hope for you is that you will see this next year as an opportunity for growth and anticipation of all of the good that is in store for you.